Now, I have not read my comments for this morning yet, or rather the ones that came in last night. And it could well be that somebody commented and said, Ron, I was watching that clip you did where you thunked your coffee cup down and then said, I'm not seeing any movement, or it didn't jump or anything like that. But I noticed that it did jump. Well, yep, I noticed that it did jump a little bit. And I do believe now that jar from my coffee cup clunking down on the tabletop here transferred across to where those little parts were and broke them loose. At least that's what I want to believe. So anyway. Okay, you know how I like to beat things to death. Well, here we go again. I've taken that clip and I've slowed it down about 5 times. If you watch closely, when you hear the thunk, which is also slowed down 5 times, you can see that there is movement. There was a jar there. Now, I've got a different perspective going on for our sunrise camera. Right now it's zoomed right in, not maximum, but pretty close to maximum, on Merv's flag. You can see it flapping in the wind over there. Now yesterday, I believe our sunrise came up at about, like it broke the horizon right there, just to the left of Merv's flag at about, I think it was around 8:23 or thereabouts. Yeah, we'll check it later. Anyway, I just want to see how that's going to be. The only thing that I am concerned about is that I have all of that bright area focused on the sensor in the camera, and it's sort of like, you know, when you use a magnifying glass and you pinpoint the sun. You remember when you were a kid, you'd burn stuff with a magnifying glass if the sun was shining bright? Well, that's my concern, is that it's magnifying all of that light. Now, maybe it's not going to work like that. Maybe it's dispersing it in the other direction. Instead of having a pinpoint bright spot on the sensor, it's just going to have a larger but less intensive light on the sensor. Anyway, let's get on here. How did we get to having these painted? Well, you have to watch the rollback. I'm not gonna put in the bottom of the screen when you can get ahead to get through the rollback. It lasts about 20 minutes. I think it's kind of interesting. I find out what is wrong with the airbrush. I get it going. Now the only thing is that I did forget to paint these. But you know what? I think I'm just going to do them by hand. Yeah. As far as I know, that's the only thing I forgot. Now, approximately 3.5 hours has passed now since we wound up episode 2019. And when I was taking the airbrush apart, and if you remember, I was dunking it into this jar here. But when I was taking it apart, I saw what I thought was, it just didn't look clean inside right there. But I thought, well, it's probably, the paint. Maybe I didn't clean it out very good when I was disassembling it there. However, I also put the nozzles, both the 0.3 millimeter and the 0.5 millimeter, into the in here as well. And just a few minutes ago, I took them out, and I'm going to put the macro lens on, and I want to show you what I saw on the 0.3 millimeter. Yeah, it's a lot easier to show you. And I took this Q-tip, and I did actually I put it on the end of the electric drill, and I worked it in there pretty good. And it does appear to be, you probably can't see it. Well, maybe with the macro lens you can. There does appear to be something on there. So in other words, it was leaking. And that was what was probably causing the back flushing that I was getting. Yeah, I couldn't figure what was wrong there, but I think I know now. I think we are going to be able to finish spraying this evening, all being well. But anyway, just let me get the macro lens on and show you what I've seen here. Okay, I've moved everything over onto the green cloth to get it off of that white background that was throwing the exposure. Now, you probably can't see it, but there is a little bit of residue on the end of the Q-tip here, or cotton bud. However, you can readily see right along here that it was not making a good seal. There was something, you know, you can see it there. So I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner and clean it up, and we'll take a look at this same part again in about 20 minutes or less. Okay, a bit of an update here. It's been a couple of minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I took a look at it, and I was noticing it, the paint, or whatever that I thought was paint, is not coming off. So I've put it in Windex here. Now I know they claim don't put brass in Windex, but on the other hand, like, is this hardened Stynylrez or something? You can see something on there. I don't know if I'm getting it off or not. Yeah, the Windex seems to be taking it off. Oh, no. Here, if we turn it around, well, it's a lot better than it was. I'm just trying to... Yeah, I think the Windex is taking it off, whatever that is. Now, like I say, I know that Windex is not supposed to, or brass is not supposed to go in Windex, but on the other hand, what are you going to do if the ultrasonic cleaner didn't want to do it, and the Iwata airbrush cleaner? Here, if I can get it to turn here. It's better than it was. I'll work on it. Okay, what I've done is I've taken one of Tennessee Jim's mini Q-tips here, and I've just shoved it up, and I'm turned it into, you might say, a mandrel. And I do believe that this stuff that you can't get in the United Kingdom, Windex, my goodness, I must be getting tired. Yeah, I think it's dissolved it. That might have been Stynylrez, but it does appear to me like we've got, I would say, 99% of it off. I'm going to put it back in the ultrasonic cleaner now and just give it one more go. Then we'll dry it off and blow it out with compressed air and take a look at it. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Now, mind you, I'm not looking at it as good as you can. You're probably seeing little pieces of residue still on there, maybe. Okay, if I keep these right close to this little white piece of dust here, then I know that they're going to be in the field of view here. I'm noticing that there does appear to be a little bit of damage on this one right here. I don't know if I maybe grabbed it too hard with tweezers at some time, or, oh, you know what, I remember one time it was stuck in the airbrush and I couldn't get it out, and I had to grab hold of it with a kind of a pair of pliers or something, and that's what that's all about. But that's okay. It's not going to affect anything because it seals down here where I'm touching right now. This cone-shaped part, that's where it seals in the body of the airbrush. So I don't think we need to worry about that. But we got that paint off of there. It'd be interesting to know what that was. I don't think that was, to me, a XF paint. I think it was possibly Stynylrez. It was just too hard. Stynylrez is really good that way. It's too bad it doesn't spray better. And this is our 0.5 millimeter nozzle. And it seems to be in really nice shape. Yeah, it could be that there was something, in the body of the airbrush there, just where the nozzle goes into it. Okay, we've poked enough here, haven't we? Yeah, we've poked enough. Okay, here's the plan. We've got our 0.3 millimeter nozzle in there, and needle. And what I want to do first is spray a little bit of just isopropyl. And if that spray's okay, then I'll spray it out, and then we'll add the paint. Now the reason I want to just test it with isopropyl is because if there's something wrong, and I haven't tested this yet, so I don't know. It's a lot easier to clean up. We had that big messy paint job last time. Anyway, just a few drops here. Okay, it's 5 drops. Oh, and I've got the pressure set at 1 bar, 15 pounds. Okay, here we go. We are not siphoning that out. Well, I don't know. I'm sure glad I didn't bet, because I was so sure it was going to work this time. I was so sure. It's not even spraying just the, isopropyl. Okay, I gotta think about this. Okay, we're back. We're going to do everything the same again. This time I've got the 0.5 millimeter nozzle back in. I'll just take a few drops here. And I think I can it'll probably show up better on my glove than it will on that white piece of paper. So here we go. Alright, we are getting back flushing. We should not be getting back flushing. Let's see if I can hold it so you can see it. Well, I suppose I could put the little wrench on there and, crank this. I've been doing this finger type all along, and it seemed to have worked pretty good, but where's the little wrench here? Okay, it's been so long since I've used it, it ended up buried and I couldn't find it. Okay, let's give it a little bit of a crank here. Alright, is there still some in there? Yeah, still some in there. Let's see what happens now. It's working fine now. Well, I don't know what to say. I know the people that say have been telling me to use the wrench. They're going to say, "Well, I told you so," and you'll be right. But okay, let's just empty this out. There's just a few drops left in there. Right now, I'm at about 10 pounds. Okay, that's it. I hope my battery's going to hold out here. Been messing around with the Okay, let's get our fan going. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to recompose for these ones. I guess that's it. Okay, we'll let that dry and then take a nice close look. Okay, I was finding when I was taking this apart to clean it up that I was having difficulty getting the nozzle out of the body. But I was wearing my latex gloves at the time, and I was finding that the rubber would grab onto the nozzle pretty good. And if you wiggle it back and forth as you're pulling, it'll come. So I didn't have to use a pair of pliers. But I'm going to have to remember to just snug it up with the wrench. As different people have told me, going back about 2 years ago. And then I was finding that I could just do it with my fingers, and it was good enough, and it was working for the longest time. But I guess something's changed. I guess maybe it's wearing a little bit in here, and it's just not, meshing up as good as it did. So yeah. But once we got the nozzle tightened, we got the back flushing stopped. It went, I'd say, really, really well. Now, we haven't, we'll look at these closely tomorrow, but give them a chance to dry overnight. I can imagine that they probably have shrunk wrapped as much as they're gonna, the paint. But we'll let it dry overnight, and we'll take a look at them in the morning. Yeah. Now, I want to say about the airbrush, we had a problem with it, and it was all my fault. It wasn't the fault of the airbrush. It was my fault. I guess I was getting a little bit complacent, and I guess maybe I didn't clean it up as well as I should have the last time I used it. Obviously, because it had, that other nozzle had paint caked on it, and which in turn, put I guess probably little flakes of paint on the inside there where it's, well, you know what I'm trying to say here. And when I'm tired, I have difficulty saying what I'm trying to say. So you know what? We'll see you in the morning. Oh my, it's almost noon already. Okay. We were talking earlier about having to paint these, right? There's only 4 of them. And I'm going to do them with a brush. But since that time, I've put my spray booth back under the table. And now I'm realizing that there's places where these parts were touching the masking tape. Well, it's not painted there. Now, these ladders, they're going to come off fairly easy, I would think. Let's get something here. I don't want to bend anything. Maybe I should be sort of just prying them off. Okay, now when we turn it over, we should see that there's going to be places that we want to paint. And we'll turn it over with the brush here. That way I'm not going to chip. Here, yeah, you can see the photo etch. Now, I think I should be able to brush that. Now, these little pieces right here, I'll put the macro lens on after. They are... I don't know what they're for. It's not real clear in the manual exactly how they go on. I'll just have to sort of guess, I guess, unless I can find some photographs of these ladders. There's 3 of them. We only need 3 of the 4. Hey, wasn't there supposed to be 4 of these things right here? Okay. Anyway, and also these 2 cages that contain those illuminated life rings. They're going to go in here. Now the part that is touching the masking tape, that's going to be up against the side of the ship, and we're not going to see that. Now, if you remember these things here, we were going to just break them loose. Haven't tried that yet. Let's just see how easily one will break off. I think it should just snap right off. Oh, maybe it's on there just a little harder than I thought. You know what? I got to put my other glasses on. Yeah, that's better. Now I can move in closer without everything blurring completely out here. Now this should just snap off. There we go. Now, what kind of glinting are we going to have going on here if I turn this over carefully? Well, that'll be easy to do a repair on. Yeah. Okay, let's recompose here. Now, surprisingly, this one here does not want to snap off. I guess when I did my reinforcing here, I just did it too good. In other words, when I was prying on this, I was bending the stringer. So I'm thinking maybe if I was to get my blade in here and just sort of, can I wedge it off like this, sort of? We'll have to get a different angle going on here. Now, if I lay it right there on the corner, I can put force straight down on that block. It sort of holds against me there. And I was saying that CA glue does not hold well. Now, why is this not snapping off? Yeah, I think it's coming. Something's happening. There we go. There we go. We're getting it. We got it. Okay. It's bent a little bit, but not real bad. Yeah, not real bad. And this edge is, this right here is going to be up against the side of the ship. Okay, now let's quit poking at it and put it with the others. Now I was just noticing here, right there on the inside of that railing, you can see photo etch glinting. Yeah. Well, we can touch that up with a brush later. Okay, this one appears to be loose already. I want to loosen these first, because then when I pry the rest of it up, I don't need to worry about it sticking down on Kind of is. There we go. Got it now. My, it stuck really good, didn't it? This thing will bend out of shape real easy, and I'll probably never get it back to the way it was. It's almost free. There we go. We got it. Okay. So how are we doing here? It is so fragile. Well, the side you're looking at right now is the side we're going to be seeing it from. That's the outside, you might say. Should we do the other one? Maybe I'll have a little better luck with this one. Kind of going at it a little bit differently here. There we go. We got it. Alright, let's just carefully turn it on its edge there. Yeah, only the underside is glinting. Now we can always touch that up with the tiny paintbrush anyway after it gets glued on. Undoubtedly, I'm probably going to be having to touch up a lot of this stuff after it's glued on. Now, I wanted to take a nice close look at the, remember where I soldered the other railing, and I was saying something about once it's painted over. Let's get one of those. Just bear with me here. Find a safe place to put this. Okay. Now, I don't know if I've got this position just right or not, but I wanted to be able to see. Okay. Now, yeah, you can see where the solder connection is. Like you can sort of see a little bit of a lump there, but once it's painted over, let's turn it around, look at the other side. Maybe we'll move it down here and get this end of it. I think those solder connections hid pretty good. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit of photo etch on the bottom of that one stringer there. Well, I'll be probably hooking something onto that anyway, because right there you can see the little holes. That's where the whatever it is that holds it up to the davit. So I'm going to have to touch that up anyway. Okay, enough. Now I forgot about these, and I really did. Maybe there was a better way to have painted these. Now these ones are going to be hanging down from the stern of the ship. And so both sides are going to be seen. One side more than the other, but didn't go far enough in, I guess, here. There we go. See, if I just grab a hold of one end and lift up on it, it will bend where it's fastened onto the masking tape. Okay. Wonder if I can do two at once. No, I don't think it's a good idea. Hey, you know what? I wonder if the waxed pencil would pick these up. I just thought of it. I'm not used to having that thing yet. No, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Will it stick to photo etch? It should. Yeah. It's not really releasing though, is it? It's kind of I think I said will it stick to photo etch, but what I meant was painted photo etch. I'm trying to turn this over here. Do it again. Okay, yeah, it works. Oh, no, it's it's stuck back on the masking tape. Okay. We've poked enough here. Yuppers. We've done a lot of poking in this episode, that's for sure. And as I'm sitting here in front of my computer right now editing out these last few scenes, I'm looking at the clock and it's just after 2. I've got a coffee visitor. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you know what happens, right? Okay, well, it's Monday. I gotta wrap this episode up. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.